People expect horror movies to be scary, but for certain kinds of people, us, they can be some of the most cozy and comforting movies in existence. Today we're going to talk about 10 movies that, yes, are horror flicks, but are also low-key, atmospheric, not too scary or violent, and feel like a spooky warm blanket. To prepare for this video, I actually looked up lists like this from several other places, and I just noticed the same movies coming up over and over and over again, so I decided to avoid those obvious ones and try to give you some different options. So my name is Daniel with the Cobwebs channel, and let's get started.
They have opened the gate.
The Gate from 1987. Three children accidentally release a horde of pint-sized demons from a hole in a suburban backyard. The kids struggle to overcome a nightmarish hell that is literally taking over the earth. Whoa, okay, I know what you're thinking. That premise doesn't exactly sound light, but here's the thing with The Gate. It might be the least dark and scary satanic horror film ever made, because it absolutely is a satanic horror film. In fact, there's this party scene. The teenage sister throws a party there at the house, and the kids start playing around with like doing this occult ritual, which I also think is really fun. Kids doing that at a party. There's something cozy about that to me. But a portal, or I should say a gate to hell, literally opens up in their backyard. Demons are coming through, and yet the movie is always just so fun and light and entertaining. This was a big gateway horror movie for kids growing up in the 80s. A lot of people saw it when they were young because it's actually starring kids. You got a young Stephen Dorff there at the center. The kids just have really nice, fun relationships. The kid and his friend, they're great. And I also like the relationship between him and his older sister, who's becoming a teenager. She's kind of entering into those teenage years, and there's a conflict there because she's moving away from the stage of life that her brother is at, and they used to be more close. And all of that stuff I honestly find really sweet and heartwarming. And while it truly is a legit horror movie, it's got great gore effects, it's got zombies showing up, demons showing up. It never loses its sense of fun. It is always just a good time. The Gate has got to be the most heartwarming, comfortable, nostalgic, satanic horror film ever made. But unlike these movies, there is nothing cozy about identity theft or strangers making money off your personal information. So give yourself peace of mind by checking out the sponsor of this video, Aura. I used to wonder why I was constantly getting scam phone calls and suspicious emails every single day. Well, I found out it's because of data brokers, shady companies that collect and sell your info without your consent. Turns out they make billions off of it, handing it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. They do have to remove your information if you ask, but the process is so time-consuming, I didn't even know where to start. That's why I'm excited to be sponsored by Aura. They take care of the hard part by finding and automatically removing your info from these sites and keeping it off. They're an all-in-one digital security service that will also give you near real-time credit inquiries to alert you to things like if someone's trying to open a loan or a credit card in your name. When I signed up, Aura Scan found I had multiple data leaks on the dark web, including my social security number and a bunch of passwords. And you guys know I've been the victim of hacks before. My eyes have really opened to how big a problem this stuff has become. So to make you safe online, Aura is going to give you guys 2 weeks totally free at my exclusive link, aura.com/cobwebs channel. Link in the description and at the QR code. I think like me, you'll get so much more peace of mind even in those first 14 days. And thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video.
What's that?
It's her book of scary stories.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark from 2019. As the title would suggest, this is the film adaptation of those classic Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books that people love to read as kids. And those books are just a collection of short stories, so their way to adapt those is not exactly as an anthology, but have characters find a cursed book and all of the stories are coming to life in their town around them. I actually think it's a really good way to do this as a feature film and allows for a lot of the most iconic stories to come to life in live action on screen really well with some legit scary monsters. When I saw it, I was so happy with it because it felt like a kid's horror movie, like a Goosebumps kind of thing, but quite a bit scarier than anything like that would normally get. And for me, that is peak coziness. It takes place in a small Pennsylvania town on Halloween night, so the fall atmosphere is perfect. You get to see trick-or-treating, kids riding their bikes around. It's certainly not a perfect, idyllic small town. It feels so real. It's also a period piece, though, by the way. It takes place in the 1960s. It even has a scene at a drive-in theater, which is almost my favorite place to be in the world. So I just love to just sink into the world of this movie. I do like the characters. I think they're really fun. And as more of them start disappearing throughout the movie, no spoilers about why or how, it kind of makes me sad because I like watching them together. I like watching them banter. This is atmospheric, creepy. It truly has stakes, but it is also one of the most warm and wholesome horror movies in recent years.
For hundreds of years, evil thoughts and evil deeds have been committed within these walls. The house itself is evil now.
House of Usher from 1960. Convinced that his family's blood is tainted by generations of evil, Roderick Usher is hell-bent on destroying his sister Madeline's wedding to prevent the cursed Usher bloodline from extending any further. I think if you're talking about cozy horror movies, your list is incomplete if Vincent Price isn't on there. Vincent Price is the most warm and comforting horror presence of all time. Anytime he is on screen, he makes me happy. He's spooky in such a fun way. No other actor has ever captured this as well. And most lists like this I see include House on Haunted Hill. And that probably is the best answer, to be honest. That is one of the coziest movies ever made. But House of Usher is the first in his run of Edgar Allan Poe films that were directed by Roger Corman. And this one is the most subtle of the bunch. And it has less scary stuff on screen than almost any of the rest. And I think that's what makes it perfect for this. It is a light, subtle, leave it to your imagination sort of creepy, eerie movie that I think is really enjoyable. Vincent Price just gets to play a super dark, gothic weirdo who's actually albino. That was his idea for the character. And a rare time you won't see him with any facial hair in a horror movie. And for me, one of the coziest things I can possibly watch is a period piece haunted house movie. This is a great one. While not being explicitly a ghost movie, it's more like a monster movie where the house itself is the monster. The house and the family within are inherently evil and tainted by madness. It's very classic Edgar Allan Poe kind of themes. I really love this movie.
Guys, maybe we should go back up to the road. That way if a car comes, then they can call for help.
Oh yeah, right before they kill us.
Campfire Tales.
Campfire Tales from 1997. If you're a fan of spooky, creepy things, there's probably almost nothing more cozy to you than the idea of scary stories around a campfire. Something so nostalgic about it reminds you of being at camp as a kid or just camping with your parents and hearing them tell spooky stories. I love that kind of thing. And this is a movie entirely built around that. It's an anthology that I've been meaning to see for so many years, but was long completely unavailable. But it's now on streaming. I'm so glad I was able to watch it. And it's a movie that is not great. And I'm not telling you that it is. It is an okay movie. But if you just want a chill, spooky movie night, which is what this list is really all built around, I mean, this is pretty perfect. The wraparound is great because it's all around a campfire. Each of the stories are good enough while never being great, but just having a subtle, creepy feel. There's a werewolf story about road tripping newlyweds that's pretty good. There's one about an internet predator that's the most real life creepy of the bunch, although thankfully it doesn't go too far with what it suggests or shows or anything like that. And then the last story is a pretty classic ghost story that's by far my favorite. The segments struggle a bit with having big payoff, but I think that does make them feel like a true urban legend kind of spooky story where they just suggest horrible things happened without having big action scenes or thrilling chase scenes or anything like that. But that last story, I think, works pretty perfectly, and I really have no criticisms about it. The cast is surprisingly fantastic. On the poster, you will see James Marsden and Amy Smart front and center. They're in the movie for about 5 minutes at the very beginning, so don't get excited about that. But there are a lot of great people in here, including Ron Livingston Cranston in a really fun, different kind of role for him. I enjoyed this. It's a chill kind of creepy, but one that I think you might find really comfy for the right kind of night.
We shall make it impossible for the incubus to rest comfortably.
Deadly Blessing.
Deadly Blessing from 1981. It's a Wes Craven movie, and man, I love Wes Craven movies. If I just want to have a really comfortable movie night, I mean, throwing on a Wes Craven movie is pretty much always a good idea. Well, not that one. But Deadly Blessing is one of my favorites of his underrated movies. This one doesn't get a lot of respect because a lot of people think it's boring, but I don't think it is. I think it's just kind of a chill vibe. I mean, for one thing, it takes place out in farmland. This one is peak for that kind of aesthetic. The main character lives on a farm, but also, yes, there is a cult near them that look and function a lot like the Amish, although they're technically called Hittites. I think with this movie, they didn't want to insult the Amish by making them actually Amish. I think there's actually a line in the movie that says, like, they make the Amish look like swingers. But their leader is played by Ernest Borgnine, and he is fantastic here, and he might really stress you out watching this movie. He is this psychotic, religious nutcase guy who is horrible to practically everyone around him. It's a scary performance, and he's really, really good. But while the movie all feels like kind of a standard cult movie, it's got a lot of twists and turns up its sleeve, and the ending of this film is so absolutely bananas. I almost second guessed how much I really liked this movie the first time I saw it, because I was just like, what is this movie doing in like its final minutes? It's so insane. I've really come around to embrace it. Like, Deadly Blessing is a fun, chill horror movie that goes absolutely bonkers crazy by the end, and how can you not love that?
It came without warning.
Without Warning from 1980, which follows 4 teenagers who go camping despite warnings not to, and soon encounter aliens who are using the area as a hunting ground. Sometimes when I just want a spooky, chill movie night, I can be really comforted by just a classic setup, whether it's people just going to a cabin in the woods, or people getting stranded outside a gothic mansion, or a bunch of teenagers going camping and they're told, oh, this area is cursed, you can't be going out there, but they go anyway. It's classic, you know? It's just like something that's gonna be like a warm blanket. I know what this kind of movie is. I like this. I'm gonna go along for this ride. Without Warning is really good for that. And also it was a legit influence on Predator. Now, is it as good or maybe even better than Predator? No, not even close. Predator is a masterpiece, but this one is really enjoyable too. I love the design of the alien so much. I love that it's not too creative, and it's really just a classic version of the first image that pops into your head of a basic alien. I say that kind of thing on this channel a lot, and I mean it. I love the traditional designs for classic monsters, and I just love a classic looking alien. This is great. And Kevin Peter Hall actually plays the alien, who's the same guy that played the Predator in Predator. Just another really interesting connection. But if you're just watching this movie for that alien, you might be disappointed. He's not actually in the movie that much. You see his weird fish bug-like creature minions a lot more than actually him. But the cast of the movie is terrific. You've got Jack Palance and Martin Landau as a couple of locals in this really backwoods, deep in the country kind of area where the movie takes place. They're both over the top and hammy in the way that you would absolutely hope them to be. Is it a great movie? No. But it is a pretty good, fun movie, and that might be exactly what you're looking for just a cozy night in.
But he doesn't understand. There's a curse upon me. I change into a wolf.
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman from 1943. Look, for me, addressing this topic, I cannot not talk about a Universal Monsters movie. The Universal Monsters were my gateway into the entire horror genre, really my gateway into movies. I was obsessed with Universal Monsters for as long as I can remember, and I wanted to recommend this one because it's not amazing. It's not one of the great classics, one of the greatest horror movies of all time, like Frankenstein, but it's just a fun little monster mash movie. And if I just want to watch one that's light, chill, just a good monster movie, Halloween-y kind of vibe, This one is absolutely perfect. I do think it's a pretty good movie. Lon Chaney Jr. is still great as Larry Talbot, great as the Wolfman. The Wolfman effects and atmosphere of him out in the woods is all just as good as in the first one. But here, you get Frankenstein's monster too. Now, he is played by Bela Lugosi, who is not a great Frankenstein's monster at all. Probably my least favorite of the Frankensteins from the original Universal Monsters run. He just holds out his arms and stumbles around. There were actually other scenes from this movie filmed where he did speak. He was a speaking, thinking character in the film, and they ended up cutting all of them out because they didn't think it worked with Bela Lugosi's accent, which kind of makes sense, to be honest with you. And if you're watching this because you want to see a fight between Frankenstein and the Wolfman, you'll get it, but not a lot of it. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is not as good as it could have been, and there are absolutely better films in the Universal Monsters run, but this is still super nostalgic and breezy for me. I still love it.
Stephen King takes you on a startling journey to Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot from 1979. Ben Mears has returned to his hometown to write a book about the supposedly haunted Marsden house. But when people around the house start dying mysteriously, he discovers that the owner of the mansion is actually a vampire. When looking at this topic, I absolutely have to pick something from Stephen King. And there are so many Stephen King movies that would fit perfectly on here. I put on Salem's Lot because it's 3 hours long. It's actually a two-parter miniseries that was made for TV, and in it, you really luxuriate in this story, in this world, and get fully immersed in it. I love the atmosphere of a classic Stephen King town. That kind of just New England, perpetually in the fall, dark but quaint and charming kind of vibe. Salem's Lot is quintessential for that. The feeling of the town is great. You spend so much time in it. David Soul is a really strong lead for the movie. He's a comfortable anchor for us as we go through this story. No, he's not the most fascinating character. He's not the most unique actor, but he's just like a strong, good guy. You feel like, yes, I'm safe with you as I go through this movie. Well, definitely not everybody who hangs out with him is safe in this film, but there are vampires here. The vampires are actually scary. There is some incredible vampire imagery here. I love the look of Barlow so much. The way it took inspiration from Nosferatu, I think it works perfectly. And he's not even the creepiest vampire in the film. The kid, the window, the fog. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a horrifying image. There's actually another adaptation of this book released straight to HBO Max last year, and that's one that you can watch if you want the story to zip by really fast, fast-paced and crazy. But this one is long. It takes its time. It has side plots. It's atmospheric. You just luxuriate in this story, and that's what I think makes it perfect for this list.
You will be good to him, won't you?
The Boy from 2016. A young American woman takes a job as a nanny in a remote English village, soon discovering that the family's 8-year-old son is actually a life-size doll that comes with a list of strict rules. This was a January horror movie, and it's one that I went to see in theaters as soon as it came out, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little bit better than expected. But over the years, The Boy has become such a modern horror favorite for me, specifically because of how cozy it is. Yeah, it's PG-13. It's not super violent. It's not mind-blowing. It's not super original, but it's a film with a really solid lead performance at the center. Lauren Cohen, she's so good in this, in a really atmospheric, big, dark, gothic house in a quaint country village in England. I love living in this movie. I love the scenes where Lauren Cohen's hanging out with Rupert Evans, a local guy who comes to visit her there. And the doll is creepy. It's a good, just chill kind of creepy thing to be throughout the movie until the third act, when honestly, the movie pops off really well. It's got really good twists and turns. It gets bonkers crazy, way more than I ever expected it to. So it's just such a nice, good vibe horror movie that I love to watch that really delivers in the end. And like, how can I ask for more than that?
You're one of the undead, and I'm a werewolf.
Yes.
That's right.
An American Werewolf in London from 1981. American tourists David and Jack are savaged by an unidentified vicious animal while hiking on the moors. Retiring to the home of a beautiful nurse to recuperate, David soon experiences disturbing changes in his mind and body. I don't know that everybody would agree with me on this being a cozy movie because it is gory, it is quite violent, and it does have a gut punch of an ending. But for me, I cannot deny this is one of the most comforting movies ever made. I love it so much. I love to put it on. It makes me feel so good. Every fall, like at the very end of summer, when fall is just starting to come and like we're just starting to get a cool breeze in the air, I will crack open a window and I'll either watch Pet Sematary or I will watch An American Werewolf in London. It's one of my favorite movies for just that kind of chill vibe. I love the feeling in the beginning when they're backpacking through England. Honestly, just going into a small English pub and everybody stops and stares at you and they warn you to not go to the moors. That's just one of the coziest things ever. Like, I just love to see that kind of classic thing. The characters, David Naughton and Jenny Agutter, are so great. I love Griffin Dunn as the frankly pretty funny zombie corpse that haunts him. And the werewolf stuff is just awesome. I'm a fan overall of on their hind legs kind of werewolves rather than on all fours. But to me, this is the best on all fours werewolf ever. The werewolf looks so good here. Even when it's dark, even when it's violent, this movie always feels like a warm blanket and a cup of hot tea to me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Before I go, I just want to send out a massive thank you to my patrons who truly make this channel possible. If anyone else wants to support me, there's always a link to my Patreon in the description below. And I want to give a special shout out to Elizabeth Hughes, Andrew Edwards, and Tisby Boxfox. You all are the absolute best. But if you want to check these movies out for yourself, I do have streaming recommendations right here on the screen. And if you prefer physical media, I have links for that in the description below. And using them does help support the channel. Don't forget to let me know your favorite cozy horror movies down in the comments below. And click on the video on the screen if you want to hang out with me more. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to enjoy yourselves today. Have some fun. And I'll see you next time. Bye.